In 2026, Formula One is attempting one of the boldest technical revolutions in its 75-year history. The FIA promises lighter cars, more relevance to road tech, and greener racing. Drivers and engineers are sounding the alarm. Some say this will remake F1 for the better. Others say it will destroy what made it the pinnacle of motorsport. Today we cut through the spin, the PR, and the spreadsheets to give you the unfiltered truth about the 2026 regulations. First, the headline technical changes. Internal combustion engines will produce less peak mechanical power, while electric systems will do much more of the heavy lifting. The MGU-H is gone, and the allowed electrical energy harvested per lap has jumped dramatically, approaching about 8.5 megajoules. This is not a tweak. It is a redefinition of how a Formula One car generates and uses power. The cars themselves will be smaller, lighter, and aerodynamically different. The rulebook targets a weight reduction of roughly 30 kilograms and aims to cut down force and drag substantially to make cars more agile on track. These are big dimensional changes. They change how a car corner, how it follows another car, and how drivers push. Under the hood, the powertrain architecture is being rewritten. The MGU-K electric motor will be asked to do far more work, as combustion engines are constrained and the MGU-H removed. That means teams must redesign cooling, battery management, and power electronics, while operating under strict per-lap energy harvesting limits. These technical boxes force new trade-offs between performance, reliability, and energy strategy. Add active aerodynamics to the equation. Front and rear wings will be able to alter their shape, shifting between low drag modes for the straights and high downforce settings for corners. The regulations also introduce a manual override concept, the strategic tool that can temporarily give a following car additional electrical power to aid overtaking. In short, DRS as we know it is being replaced by a far more complex set of aerodynamic and electrical interventions. Drivers have tested these concepts in simulators and they are not shy about their first impressions. Charles Leclerc, after running a virtual iteration of the 2026 Ferrari, said it was not the most enjoyable, and he questioned how the racing will feel when these cars hit the track. That candid simulator feedback matters because drivers will ultimately be the sensors that tell us if these cars are raceable, enjoyable, and safe. So what happens when you put all these pieces together? First, energy management becomes central to racing. Teams and drivers will have to time when to harvest, when to deploy, and when to accept less power in exchange for thermal safety. Second, reliability risk increases. More battery energy, more cooling plumbing, more high-voltage systems means more single-point failures that can end a race instantly. Third, overtaking could shift from a test of bravery and aerodynamic skill into a tactical exercise of when to spend your precious electrical kilowatts and when to conserve them. There are historical precedents. When the sport moved to hybrids in 2014, teams that understood the new architecture early gained prolonged advantage. The same dynamic could reappear here with well-funded manufacturers able to iterate faster and smaller teams struggling to keep pace. As the rules stand, manufacturers and big factory teams will have a head start in investment and development. But there is an upside. If the manual override and active aero are implemented transparently and television graphics explain what is happening, we could see exciting new kinds of strategic battles. Sustainability gains could bring new manufacturers, new sponsors, and long-term manufacturer commitment. The question is whether the technical complexity can be managed without killing the visceral elements, the sound, the feel, the immediate drama that make F1 an emotional spectacle. Here is what I expect from the first season. Expect messy reliability early on, expect odd strategic races as teams learn battery behavior, and expect at least one manufacturer to hit the right architecture and pull ahead. Expect confusion at first for viewers as TV tries to explain energy windows and overrides, but expect the rules to be adjusted if the spectacle suffers. The 2026 rules are a bet on technology and relevance. They could modernize Formula One, or they could drown it in complexity. Which outcome do you think is more likely? Will 2026 be the rebirth or the undoing of Formula One? Comment below and tell me which change worries you the most.